All of you have been in aquariums or zoos, but do you really understand what's going on? Like you, I have been to plenty of zoos and aquariums. But unlike you, I've been for different reasons. Not to gaze at the animals or enjoy my time there, but to understand the hardships they face. Animals suffer daily from being held in captivity. They face they develop health issues that animals in the wild don't face. I'm also going to talk about the lies that zoos tell the public and the violence that animals in captivity impose on humans. The only way to stop these issues is to stop creating places that hold animals in captivity. Animals in captivity develop serious health issues that only they suffer from. Their counterparts do not face these. Born Free Foundation states that elephants suffer from lameness and behavioral problems. Lameness, as in they don't walk around, they don't lay down because animals don't lay down and elephants don't lay down in the presence of strangers. Stereotypical behavior and high infant mortality in polar bears. So, stereotypical behavior would be an animal pacing back and forth, um, over grooming, those sorts of things. Infant mortality, the high infant mortality means that polar bear cubs born in zoos don't actually make it. Over half of them actually end up passing away at birth. There's also abnormal behavior in great apes. So an example of this would be them over grooming each other and actually developing infections in the skin because of the over grooming. Birds also get no opportunity to fly because of the small enclosures, and most of the time they put too many birds into one enclosure so they don't have the room to fly. Mammals may not be able to run or jump, same reason the enclosures are too small. And all of these animals in the wild have evolved mentally and physically to live very different lives to those in captivity. So in the wild, these animals get to express themselves and be who they are. But in captivity, since the enclosures are very small and don't live to their natural habitat, they develop differently. Um, Animals are adapted to specific natural environments and to exhibit particular behaviors. In zoos, they are not allowed to be themselves and develop health issues. So all these health issues arise because of the way the enclosures and tanks are set up. Animals daily, as you know, as everyone knows, they run, they jump, they fly miles upon miles, and swim every single day. So these enclosures are no match for any sort of animal. And also, animals in captivity are very dangerous to humans. Some examples of this were written by Laura Agadani. She's been writing professionally since 1983 and wrote the article, What Are the Dangers of Captive Animals? In 2007, a tiger killed a 17-year-old boy and left two people severely injured after the tiger scaled a wall and jumped a moat. So again, not only are the enclosures not enough for these animals, they're not safe for the animals since a tiger can jump over a wall and a moat. A lion trainer, Dave Salome, was attacked by a lion he was training in front of school children, and the lion tore some muscles from his arm. The famous Las Vegas entertainment icon, Roy, was mauled on stage by a tiger he raised. So no matter what, these are wild animals. You can raise them from the time they were born, but they still have these natural instincts deep down inside of them that are going to make them attack at any moment. And I have also personally viewed some stories on the news, preferably CNN. A killer whale a killer whale killed its trainer in 2010 by grabbing her waist and throwing her around like a toy. These whales are naturally born in the wild. They're not going to want, they're playful animals. They toss around their food in the wild to actually kill it so they can eat it. So this whale was just explaining its natural instinct, was to throw around what it wanted to eat to kill it. A woman was attacked at Arizona Zoo by trying to take a selfie with a jaguar. Now, all of these causes were caused by human interaction. If these animals were not kept in confinement, they would have not killed these people. And also, a newspaper called The Telegraph stated that a woman was mauled by a polar bear in 2010 because she jumped into the enclosure. Again, humans' fault. And lastly, are the reasons these places give to the public to stay open true? No, they're not true. Born Free Education, Born Free Foundation states a lot of reasons of why they aren't true. So a lot of zoos and aquariums tell the public that they breed these animals and keep them in captivity to keep them from going extinct. Research shows that the majority of zoos and aquariums are not threatened with extinction in the wild, and very few animals kept or bred in captivity are ever returned to the wild. So most of the time when you're going to zoos and aquariums, you see dolphins and you see seahorses, you see crabs, you see bears, you see tigers. None of these are affected with extinction. Yes, like albino tiger, certain things like that, yes. But do you see those in a zoo? No. They zoos and aquariums may also tell you that the money you spend goes to conservation programs. The money that you spend to get into a zoo or aquarium, zoos and aquariums are very expensive to run. So the entrance fee you might pay and the money you might pay to go eat at one of their restaurants, very minor of the money you spend actually goes to conservation programs, and few people realize that. Another reason is people may assume that the research conducted at these places helps threaten species or habitats in the wild. But like I said, because of their health issues and the enclosures not matching their natural environment, these studies focus on problems created by captivity and how they affect animal welfare. One thing I have learned too through this research by myself is that they tell the public and you see signs and they tell people, oh, we're very educational. But how are people learning about these animals and how they act and how they look if these animals can't even act the way they do? How are you supposed to learn of an animal's natural instincts and the way they act if they can't even act that way in a zoo or an aquarium? Animals do not belong in captivity because of the harm they face and the danger they impose on humans. Zoos and aquariums also lie to the public about what exactly their reasoning is staying open because simply there is no justifiable reason. Being born in captivity does not remove animals' inherent instincts and needs. Every animal and every human belongs to be free. Thank you.